Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our discussion program. I am Najmi Takib bin Aja Ahmad from University Malaysia Police. I am very grateful for giving me this golden opportunity to talk about how Malaysia started to move itself to generate an economy during this pandemic COVID-19. Before this, the government informed us that tackling the challenge of COVID-19 it included six approach or known as 6R, and that is reverse, resilient, restart, recovery, revitalize, and reform. We are now in the recovery part. We are here with the panel tonight. I introduce the first panel, who is Dr. Najman Al-Najmi, an economic analyst and a fellow of the Malaysia Academy of Science. Assalamualaikum, Doctor. How are you?
Waalaikumsalam. Good. Thank you, Najmi Takik.
Thank you for joining us, Dr. Nazwan. Next, allow me to introduce our next panel, that is Dr. Adi Najmi as the Chief Economist of Bank Negara Malaysia BNM. Assalamualaikum, Doctor. How are you today?
Waalaikumsalam. Good. Thank you to our moderator.
We begin this discussion with Dr. Zakwan about on the situation where we are in the recovery part, because when the economy is made by the National Bank is kissing will happen, we flow or not acting in line with the health and economic asset.
Okay, if you ask me in what situation we have done, we did the best we can. In the current situation, with the resources we have, at first we are shocked by the news of 1 trillion in debt until many people ask how we want to pay off all this debt. The Prime Minister will not announce something if there is no money, right? That's my logic. So, for me, it is not too late and not too early because we do not expect the government to hesitate. I look at the value given, and although I was one of the main critics when Tun Dr. Mahathir want to launch 20 billion and I expect in 30 billion, when the 2020 package was launched by Tan Sri Muhyiddin of 200,000 and 15 billion, I was one of the most surprised people and excited. So for me, what has been done is that the government is in the existing wisdom with the resources available and the simultaneous available. They have done what they are best able to do.
Here, Dr. Adli has his view on government strategy.
Dr. Zakwan mentioned that government commitment by introducing the economy stimulus package prihatin to the people. Now about 295 billion has been released by the government to aid the people burden in facing this COVID-19 crisis. But based on a press conference issued by Bank Negara Malaysia, the growth domestic product rate decreased as a result of this pandemic. And for the government to deal with this contagion, there are two priorities take. First is health and second is economy. So in the early stage, the government focus on the health of the people, and so this is so and this objective is achieved. The government will move to the second objective, which is the economy.
The Prime Minister has announced that the new certain short-term economy recovery plan, Penjana, which has three costs: that strategic, the people, boost business, simulation, and economy, which need about 35 billion. Okay, Dr. Adli can comment a little on these plans.
Among the incentives included in this plan is the wage subsidy given to retaining his employees. This is because the unemployment rate is increased by 3.9%, and it likely to increase future. Earlier, Dr. Zakwan mentioned the microeconomy and the move highlight about the real estate sector, aspect for stamp duty and home ownership campaign. And as a result, there is a decrease in the percentage of the number of unsold house. For the automotive sector, sales tax e- exemption that has been given to boost the country economy future.
Although it look interesting, we need to be smart in buying. Okay, Dr. Zakwan, want to add about this content?
Maybe one I can add a little. In the crisis, we are faced with the scenario that people are afraid to spend but will cause the economy not to move. However, there are two steps that can be taken if you want to spend. The first is to buy Malaysian goods, and the second is to spend productively, which means can generate household income, not for personal gain.
One of the things we see during this passage of the COVID-19 pandemic is the ability of this online business to be born. In the opinion of Dr. Zakwan, our digital landscape so far is good, conducive, or how?
What I can share in my view, before we experience the transmission of COVID-19 and so on, when we look at the Facebook page, it's usually a political story. Almost 18% of the stories are about politics. But lately, all Facebook page are filled with online merchants, and the way they do business is not the same as taught at the university, such as product, price, and quantities. But they take goods and continue to sell in a language that has its market on the social side. They must also have their customers since the beginning of their business on the social side. Maybe they are just tempted to try an online business, and many are trying. Indeed, failure may not be sales at all, but for me, what is important is that he is a new entrepreneur who wants to start. This is the most difficult in this field of entrepreneurship, because one to start a business is quite difficult to start if you do not have a strong spirit and mentality. So the meaning of this COVID-19 and MCOC cause use to find a new path that we have never thought about. Once they are good at selling goods of product, they can improve the quality of their sales better for their business to continue to thrive and grow. So that is my view when looking at the matter on social media side.
And what do you think, Dr. Adli, about the impact of this pandemic on the business sector?
The worldwide outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic has been a significant impact on the economy, including the franchise business. The Minister of Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs said the increase was recorded when other business sectors, including franchise, were infected by the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic since late December until now. However, online trading activity record a dramatic surge of 98.9%. This first sale value show the franchise ship company show consumer can be ven- ventured by the people of this country.
Before concluding this discussion, a brief summary of Dr. Zakwan on this situation economically.
The government has done what needs to be done with the available resources and so on. In this phase of economic recovery, the responsibility lies with oneself as a consumer and producer by prioritizing the purchase of goods made in Malaysia.
A little from Dr. Adli.
I think a lot has been mentioned by Dr. Zakwan. For me, as a consume, it is necessary to plan my own finance because the government has provided a lot of various assistance or incentive such as loan, EPF withdrawals, and so on. That's all for me.
I am very interested in the opinion of both individual panel today. Okay, thank you Dr. Zakwan and Dr. Adli. And we will meet again in the future. We are stop here. Assalamualaikum and good luck.